Welcome back to the Who's Yanks. Bienvenido a the Who's Yanks. We're talking Canada soccer and U.S. soccer. Tonight we're going to be talking about the USA and what Group B and the World Cup means to them, and potential friendlies and what they should be expecting, along with upcoming games that needs to be prepared for. A tough opponents they have, and we're going to be taking a closer look at too shortly. But as you know, this video, as I probably said in the previous video, this video is being recorded on the April 5th, as it's being released on April 8th, I believe. Whenever this video is released, it is being pre-recorded, but nonetheless, hope you guys still enjoy it, given how I have exams and stuff, and it would be impossible for me to do a video every day and then release it and edit it. So why not do it on a day that I'm relatively free and then post it then, as it's easier for me, and hopefully you guys is still enjoyable. And yeah, and then of course still be on the lookout for the 125 sub special video. Once again, I cannot thank you guys enough for getting to that amount in this amount of time that this channel has existed. I would have never thought that I've at least broken 100 alone since June, or since the almost a year. So it's really puts a smile on my face, and really can't thank you guys enough. And I don't think I have any other announcements other than CONCACAF Champions League is going on. So if you're interested in that, make sure you follow. I know for sure MLS is playing New York City versus Seattle, and then you have Liga MX Pumas versus Cruz Azul, and there will be an MLS versus Liga MX final. And so if you're interested in that, keep an eye out for that. But I'm here to talk about the Yanks and what the FIFA World Cup 2022 draw. They got Group B, what that means for the USA, and what needs to happen between now and then. That way the USA doesn't get punched in the mouth in the World Cup and they come prepared. So without further ado, here we go. So in Group B for the USA, we have England, Iran, the official name, the Islamic Republic of Iran, of course the US themselves, and the winner in the playoff way for Euros or Europa with Wales, Ukraine, and Scotland. And all three of those playoff teams are really good. And unlike Canada, unlike their group, this group is really not set in stone yet. So there are more opponents for me to talk about in this one than in Canada. So we'll be talking about all Wales, Ukraine, and Scotland, whoever breaks through, and we'll find out the winner of that in June. This playoff game won't happen in Qatar. It'll happen instead in, I believe, Wales. It will happen in Cardiff, and so I think the Wales is already awaiting the semifinal or the winner of that. So really, Wales should be. We'll definitely be talking about Wales, as they are easily one of the front runners here. Although all teams are very similar, so in that regard, but nonetheless, let's just start with the overall look at Group B for the USA. So I know how I said earlier that, Group B, very manageable group for the USA. I mean, it still is somewhat manageable, but taking a second, third, even more looks than that, it doesn't really look as, no group is simple by all means in the World Cup. But compared to other groups, this group is pretty challenging for the USA. For the USA, at least. For England, maybe. Although, it depends what England team shows up. If it's the England team that never shows up, and it's like the Toronto Maple Leafs, where they dominate during the regular time, but when it comes to the big times, like the playoffs and stuff, they just drop the bag. I don't know. Will it be the England team that fumbles the bag, or will it be the England team that plays its best? And I don't know. For England, I don't know. And that's why I've seen a lot of people joking, saying, England is known for underestimating their opponents. So, especially with the USA. So, I don't know. I've seen many people already predict that the USA might surprise England maybe 1-0 or 2-0 here. I don't know. I mean, would I like that to happen? Oh, yeah, easily. USA would like to see them win every game here. But at the same time, for being realistic, I just don't know what England team we're going to see here. Although I'm really looking forward to that England game and the US game. And on that note, I've gotten a lot of people saying, and as I probably said in the Canada video, why are you looking forward to this game, right? It's on Black Friday, but why are you looking forward to it? Well, why not look forward to it? We know what this golden generation of U.S. players can do. Christian Pulisic, Gio Reyna, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, Giannis Musa, by the way, who is an English American who's eligible for both countries. And that's what I'm excited for. A lot of the U.S. players that came out recently have been eligible to also play for England as well. So there's, as well as on England side, I believe there's a few Americans that are England that are eligible there too. So you've got a lot of dual nationals on both sides. And for me, I mean, I'm just really looking forward to this, especially see how this group of talented U.S. players, how they size up against a Power 5 perennial powerhouse such as England. I mean, who wouldn't want to be excited for that? And for me, I mean, why would you want to shy away from that? I mean, yes, it's tough competition, but I want to see how I want to see how this U.S. team sizes up against a tough quality opponent, European world perennial powerhouse team. This is a measuring stick game by all means, and for sure an important World Cup game, which everybody will be watching this game, especially if it's on the first day of the World Cup. I think it's the second game on the first day, but or not that game, but not the England game. The U.S. is definitely playing on the first day, but the England-U.S. game is on Black Friday, and which is still going to get a lot of views. But I mean, it's like, yeah, why not look forward to this game? U.S. versus England. As soon as the U.S. got drawn in the English group, I was already just, yeah, bring it on. Bring it on. I mean, come on. We can take England. Plus there's a lot of smack talk going on between both countries. And a lot of microcosm, too, as people are saying it. The whole soccer versus football. The whole British goes back to the American Revolution. There's just a lot of historical and microcosm aspects of this, too, that it's just building a tasty, appetizing competition. And it's the second game of the U.S.'s campaign, as the USA will open up with the winner of Wales, Ukraine, and Scotland, followed by England, and then closing out with the Islamic Republic of Iran. So we've got all opponents here, but England, I'm for sure looking for that. That's probably going to be my favorite game. But at the same time, I've seen a lot of people, a lot of U.S. fans that are rightly saying, don't sleep on Iran or Iran. They're sure we don't know about them, but they're a quality opponent given on paper from what I've heard about. I mean, they're top 21. I think every team here is going to be top 21, no matter who, which by all means makes it a really tough group. And I think someone said this group has the highest ranking out of all of them, as in terms of difficulty. And I can see that in terms of FIFA ranking. I mean, it's like, yeah. Why not? So it's like Wales, Ukraine, Scotland, all top 21 teams. Iran, top 21. England, 5. U.S. current FIFA ranking, 15. I mean, all these teams are top opponents. And they're going to really test the USA. This group will get tested, which is what I'm excited about the most. I mean, I want to say we've been waiting for this for 8 years now. I mean, since 2018. The new generation. We've got a new team. We got to see how Greg Berhalter musters together this team and what team he musters together for the World Cup. And I don't know if he's going to change stuff up, or will he just, if I'm him, I would just find a group. And this also goes into what I'm going to say with the friendlies coming up. Find a group of players. Go ahead and start getting them acclimated with each other by chemistry and stuff. Break them in. Get them consistently playing with each other. Build chemistry. And then when it's time for the World Cup, you start that exact same lineup of players. Don't change a thing, given how you've been playing it all year long, and then we'll see how that stocks up against these opponents. I mean, tough opponents, right? But nonetheless, I don't know how Greg Berhalter is going to take his friendlies coming up. There is one already scheduled against Uruguay in June, and hopefully Argentina. Rumor has it, I don't know if that's still up in the air or not, but Argentina wanted to schedule friendlies also in June against the U.S. So those are good opponents to start off with. I would also, however, want to see the U.S. play some quality AFCON opponents. So we've got South American opponents lined up apparently. But what about AFCON? You got Nigeria, you've got Egypt, you've got other quality opponents too that you can play. Ivory Coast. I mean, you've got just a lot. Cameroon. I mean, no, I don't know if you play Cameroon. Maybe you can. I mean, they're not in your group in the World Cup. But I don't know. We'll see how the USA. We'll see who they pick. And then they are talking about Asian teams. Maybe I know Japan and South Korea are both in the World Cup. Um, maybe you could play. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you maybe I don't know what the Asian team you play. Maybe Saudi Arabia. That's the only team I can think of. Saudi Arabia, Turkey. I mean, I know they're technically Europe, but maybe you can play Turkey. That would be a great one. Um, I would say no, not that one, not Russia. I was gonna say Russia, but we all know they're tied up right now with Ukraine. But nonetheless, you can always play European teams like Ireland. You know, can't go back to that. Ireland, Italy. They didn't make the World Cup. Italy's a great test for the USA. There you go. Italy's right there if you're looking for a good test. Um, you know, what else you can play? Greece, maybe. Hungary. You know, maybe other more teams like that, higher caliber European teams. Maybe you can play those teams, or whoever fails to not qualify out of Wales, Scotland, and Ukraine. Maybe you can play whoever one of those teams. Ironically, ideally, you want to see Ukraine go through, especially with all the tension that they're going through. So we're all pulling for Ukraine, and would love to have them in this group. No offense to Wales and Scotland, but just for the sake of Ukraine, everything they're going through right now, we'd really, really love to see Ukraine in the group. But yeah, back to the friendlies and possible opponents that you can use for prep. Brazil, I mean, if you can schedule Brazil, it's just you've got a lot of options to work with, and now is not the time to drop the ball and fumble the bag. If I'm Greg Butcher, when it comes to getting the USA properly prepared for these tough opponents, you want to be prepared. You don't want to come in playing all easy CONCACAF opponents, which, by the way, I'll be covering in Nations League, with the USA arguably has the easiest group, which really doesn't help in terms of their preparation. But so just like Canada, I don't know what the USA is going to do. They're going to probably use tactics. Use these games as like drills or something. I don't know. I don't know how Greg Broder's going to use those Nations League games. But I'm talking about those for another Nations League game, which will be the day after this video is probably posted. I don't know, whenever. But nonetheless, I don't know what friendlies Greg Broder's going to choose. But whatever he chooses, he's going to have to make these really count, because Iran is tough. Once again, even though we don't know anything about them, we can guarantee on paper that they are a tough opponent. England is, of course, tough. And then any of Wales, Ukraine, or Scotland, they all play similarly. Maybe one a little bit better than the other. But, I mean, we've played Wales before, and it was 0-0 without Gareth Bale, though. And when the USA really, that they've never, a group together that never played before. So now you've got this experience and just a little bit of chemistry built. Obviously, not a lot, but still a little bit. Maybe you can play Wales again if we do manage to get them with Gareth Bale, and maybe that'll go a little better, or I don't know. It might still end in a 0-0 1-1 draw. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, I mean, just these opponents are tough. Greg Barter's gonna have to, and the U.S. Federation's gonna have to schedule some tough friendlies. I mean, against some tough quality opponents, against different playing styles. Because keep in mind, every team in the World Cup has a different playing style. I don't know. England's gonna be probably like Brazil and possess the ball. They're gonna want to move the ball around, ball possession heavy. Iran, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I mean, you're going to need to play a team that you just don't know how they're going to play in a friendly like that. And maybe Iran, you're going to have to figure that out. But Wales, Ukraine, Scotland, I mean, you played Wales before, so you kind of have an idea on how maybe Scotland, maybe possibly Ukraine's going to play. But then again, each one of these teams have playing different styles. So you can't really, I mean, it's like you can't compare. You just got to play them to find out. But, I mean, any kind of experience, you're gonna have to schedule some good quality opponents. And as I said, get a steady lineup. So now, unlike CONCACAF World Cup qualifying, I know Greg Butcher was kind of experimenting with different lineups and different stuff. Now is not the time to experiment. Now is the time to really start to lock down and identify your starting or your 22 players who will be going to the World Cup, and your starting 11 who will be playing consistently, hopefully. And even in the scrimmage, even in the games that are scrimmaged, I say that because the Nations League, El Salvador and Grenada, those are honestly, let's be real, those are not as strong opponents as I hope for. I really want the U.S. to get a strong group, but I don't know. I don't make the rules, or I don't make the draw. So, but nonetheless, once Greg Berhalter finds a group of players, who are talented, or just finds his starting 11, immediately hit the ground running. Get these guys training together. Get them continue building as high chemistry between them as possible, and then from there, when it gets to November and December, we'll see how all that fares off, and we'll see if the USA can get out of the group. By then, in June, of course, we'll know which one of the three teams will be in the group. But now is the time to just schedule friendlies that are gonna test you. This doesn't mean blowout games or blowout teams that you're just gonna have fun. Which sure you get to rack up goals against, but you don't get tested, and that's a problem. So you want to make sure you're getting tested in these friendlies, and then most importantly, find a starting 11 that plays together and get them playing consistently together. Do not change the lineup, or if you are going to change it, make one possibly tweak it. But even then, be careful, as you want to have a consistent starting lineup. That way, when it comes time for the World Cup, they've done enough practices and drills together that they know what to expect, and they have a chemistry, and they can build and read each other's minds almost. But we don't know, and that's something we have to see. But overall, with the group, I mean, it's a tough group for the USA. They're gonna get tested. England's tough, top 5. Iran, top 21. We don't know. It's a mystery team. Wales, Ukraine, Scotland, those are all mysteries. Although Wales, we played before. That was in a friendly, though. World Cup will be different, as there would be something to play for. Ukraine, Scotland, I don't know about either, but Scotland is probably playing a lot like Wales, given how they're a UK team. But then again, each team has their own differences and slight tweaks, so we're just going to find it out as time goes on. But that pretty much wraps up my thoughts on the group. We'll see how time goes on, what happens with Greg Berhalter and what kind of friendlies he does, as well as what group he decides to start picking out for his starting 11 for Qatar. So if you like this video, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. Also, it's a good idea to hit the bell notification. That way you know when this video is posted for sure, as it'll be scheduled, released, instead of me releasing it. So it'll be at 5 o'clock p.m. on whatever day I have it scheduled for. And yeah, with that, hope you guys enjoyed this one. And tell your friends, the USA will get tested in World Cup 2022 in Qatar in Group B this November and December.